Take a Bow, my other disco song on Real Man, I really do think it was my homage to Madonna. I'm shamelessly never really been a big Madonna fan, but I've never denied the profound influence she's had on my culture. And by the time Real Man happened, I was starting to really like Madonna's more current music, and I loved all the techno dance stuff. And I remember her song Take a Bow, or whatever it was called with Take a Bow in parentheses. I'm not even sure which one it was, but then I thought of what a fun thing to show up before God and take a bow. And I had written a song a long time ago called Party in the Throne Room, and which you may notice that I've never ever done that one in front of people because it's not as good as it sounded. I had two songs I wrote that I thought would be really cool. I had Party in the Throne Room and Bigger Than Presley, and that neither have found their way into my records yet, but maybe because I brought them up now I'll feel obligated. But I wanted to capture the concept of you're allowed to be a superstar in the eyes of God, and you can show up one day at the end of your life and take a bow. And instead I wrote this, personally really aggressive attack on the church and how the church is so arrogant and shutting the doors of heaven to people, and we're really selective as to who we're going to accept and not accept, and somehow we're giving off that God's selective, and God is not selective. He selected all of us. He selected all of us no matter what you think. And Take a Bow got airplay, and it still has airplay today on some internet radio and college radio. I'm so happy because, well, of course that keeps my foot in the door for people noticing what I do in the future. And prior to that, the Take a Bow was impossible to do live. Just simply impossible. When I recorded it, I had absolutely no voice. Absolutely no voice. I was sick to death. I had a horrible throat infection, and I had no voice. So when I went to record it, it was all the saints are so, and it's like, so we went with it. We put an effect on my voice, and not really an effect, but we layered it with other vocals to accentuate the problem and make it part of the song, and it sounds really cool. I'm singing it an octave lower than I'm supposed to, and it sounds really cool, but it was impossible to do live. So I tried it a few times and it sucked, and I dropped it. And then a year or so later I did some bar shows, and I needed some music that wasn't exactly aggressively Christian sounding, and I yanked that out of my hat, and I tried it as a song where I spoke it, and I was like, all us saints, and it sounded really cool. I was almost mad I didn't record it like that. So you never know, that may show up again in its new improved version. Real Man, oi, 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 oi. That song has been a thorn in my side for my entire adult life. I wrote Real Man shortly after becoming a Christian. I was dating someone who would, hey, we're working here. I was dating someone that would become my my first wife. Oh, there she goes now. And I hope she sees this. She's such a bitch. I wrote this song. I married her anyways. But my gosh, she literally would stare at the TV and look at me and in my little flabby, wimpy, marshmallowy state, and you could just tell she was going, why can't you be more like those guys on TV? And so the guy on TV, when it says, be a real man for me like the guy on TV, just so you know, it's Tom Selleck. I pictured Tom Selleck. I think he came out of the womb 6'4" and covered in hair. I mean, what is wrong with that guy? What is wrong with him? I just saw him. I just saw his most recent movie, Killers, yesterday. And my gosh, the guy made a deal with the devil to look like that. That's all I can say. I mean, he's a brick house. He's mighty, mighty. Now you're never going to hear that song with a straight face. God bless Tom Selleck, but I was so over girls looking at him and looking at me going, ugh. And so I wrote Real Man. I wrote Real Man for her, and what's funny is I wrote Desire for her, and if you look at the comparison between the two songs, you can tell I had a real love-hate thing going on. Thanks, Robin. Good job. So Real Man, Real Man just never really worked for me on any level, and I tried for years, even in my other music projects prior to this ministry, to include it, but to me it was just really corny. And then when I was putting together the record, I swear that the Lord just said, "Why don't you use Real Man?" I was like, yuck. No. And that's when I learned the lesson of, if you do it now, you never have to do it again because you've already done it. And once you've done it, people can't take it away from you, but it kicks open the door for you to do other stuff down the line that may be experimental and questionable for Christian music. And you know what? It turned out really cool. It worked great in concert, of course. People loved it, and then people started putting their hands in the air. I didn't start that. Other people started doing it, and then, it became like the thing. I don't think anybody understands why their hands are in the air, but by the end of an hour and a half set, they're pretty much ready to move their bodies. I probably could have gotten them to do the hokey pokey at that point. And, but Real Man was certainly a concert hit, and periodically when I do it now, it shows, you can always see people go, oh yeah, and again, Real Man, got airplay and got me some attention. And well, since we know the next record was Zombies, and Zombies was, my most controversial effort, the entire record of Real Man paved the way for me to do a lot in the future and have people go, well, I didn't really like this, but I liked Real Man. So if he goes back to doing Real Man, we're good. And Real Man was like the first song that I did that had, 500,000 downloads. So, it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And I'm just grateful that, several thousand shows later, people don't yell out Real Man at my show. People don't go, do Real Man, I think about Joan Jett and I Love Rock and Roll. It's like, she better like that song. She just better like that song. And because I'm just glad I don't have to do it. I'm glad that I'm thinking about re-recording it and adding it in a future song cycle. Now at the end of the record, Real Man, I revisit the song, and it's what you hear at the end of the record is a demo, a portion of a demo that I did of the song 100 years ago. I did a demo of several of my songs for a up-and-coming Christian record company for a publishing deal. And you hear a different version of the song where I'm like going, be a real man for me, be a real man like the guy on TV, put your hands in the air, it comes to you so easy, but while you're at it, grab a sock for me. And I love that, me. I suddenly am from New York and I sound just like Joan Jett. And I had that, and I go, it's weird that I have this, this is the only recording I have of that, the only demo I did, and I was like, we got to put this on the record somehow, we got to figure out a way. And so at the end of the record, we close with that, and Real Man, nice. So I'm glad I did this song. I don't think it's stupid. I think that it had its place. I think a lot of my work made a lot of heterosexual men in my audience feel uncomfortable, and Real Man made them feel like I spoke for them as well. And God bless that, man. That's great.